So, let's talk about something that happens to all of us. This strange, sometimes uncomfortable feature of the human mind, the way it just replays the past over and over. In this explainer, we're going to unpack the architecture behind that and figure out why our minds seem so obsessed with what's already done. You know exactly what this feels like, right? You could be doing the dishes, driving your car, or just sitting in silence. And bam, you're suddenly reliving something awkward you said 10 years ago. Some tiny mistake that probably nobody else on earth even remembers. If that sounds familiar, well, you're in good company. So what is going on here? Why do we do this to ourselves? I mean, we tell ourselves to just let it go or move on, but our mind seems to have its own agenda. Why does it fixate on the very moments we want to forget? What's the point of this mental echo chamber? Okay, let's really get into it. First things first, we need to get one thing straight. This isn't some personal flaw or a sign that you're weak. These echoes, they're a fundamental part of your brain's operating system. And this right here is the most important shift in perspective you can make. These memories that pop up aren't your mind trying to torture you. It's actually a protective mechanism, a really clumsy, misguided one sometimes, but a protective one nonetheless. Let's look at the first reason why. Okay, so our first stop is the brain's deep-seated need for completion. It just can't stand an open loop. It wants every story to have a clear ending. In psychology, we call this the need for cognitive closure. So, if you had an argument and you never got to say your piece, or you made a mistake you never got to fix, your brain keeps that mental file stamped incomplete. And it keeps that file right on top of the pile, constantly bringing it up for review, almost hoping that if it looks at it one more time, it can somehow change the outcome. And this is the perfect example of when that system kicks into high gear. It's late at night, everything is quiet, there are no distractions, and your brain decides, great, time to review the cold cases. It starts running these simulations, replaying the scene, trying to find a better script. The moment is long gone, but for your brain, court is still in session. All right, now this next part, this is probably the most critical piece of the entire puzzle, and it goes way back into our evolutionary wiring. Look, this might sound a little harsh, but it's a fundamental truth of how we're built. Evolutionarily speaking, the brain that remembers the poison berry, the dangerous path, or the sting of social rejection is the brain that gets to pass on its genes. Pleasure is great, but pain is a powerful teacher. Pain keeps you alive. This slide just lays it out so clearly. Think about it. You can have 100 great, smooth conversations that just evaporate. But that one clumsy thing you said at a party, that can stick with you for years. And it's not because your brain is negative. It's because your brain is running a survival program. It's flagging anything that could be a social threat, so you learn to avoid it in the future. So what we're really talking about here is a survival bias of memory. Your brain is like a hyper-vigilant safety inspector, always reviewing old incident reports. It doesn't bring up these painful memories to make you feel bad. It's bringing them up to say, hey, remember this? This hurt. Let's make a note and make sure this never, ever happens again. Okay, this third reason is a little more subtle, and honestly, it's pretty surprising. It's all about the weird kind of comfort the brain can find in things it already knows, even if those things are painful. Think about it. The future is a giant, scary unknown. Anything could happen. But the past, that story's already written. The outcome is fixed. You know exactly how it ends. So when your brain gets anxious about all the uncertainty ahead, it can sometimes retreat to the familiar territory of an old memory. Even a bad memory feels predictable, and in a weird way, safer than the unknown. And that's why this quote is so perfect. It's why these memories always seem to show up when things are quiet. When you're not actively trying to figure out the present or plan for the future, your brain has a little free time. And where does it go? It walks down those well-worn neural pathways of the past. The silence of the now just makes the echoes of then seem deafening. Okay, so we've spent all this time figuring out the why. So what do we do about it? Well, the answer isn't to fight your brain or try to suppress these thoughts. It's actually about changing your relationship with them. The entire strategy is right here on this slide. We have to stop asking that question that comes from a place of frustration. Why can't I forget this? That just creates more tension. Instead, we shift to a simple observation, one that comes from a place of understanding. Oh, okay. My mind is trying to protect me right now. That little reframe changes the entire dynamic. So here's how you put that into practice. It's a simple 3-step process. The next time one of those memories comes up, first, just notice it. Don't judge it, don't fight it, just see it. Second, take a moment to acknowledge its purpose. Say to yourself, there's that survival mechanism kicking in. And then third, just calmly, internally say something like, I see why you're here. You're signaling to your brain that you've got the message. The alarm has been heard. You might have to do it a few times, but it is an incredibly powerful way to disarm the memory. And really, that's the ultimate goal here. This isn't about getting to a point where your mind is perfectly blank or you've erased your past. It's about understanding the machine. Because the second you understand the function behind the feeling, the moment you can see the protective instinct hiding behind the pain, you're no longer being controlled by your mind. You're working with it.